This is John Cole with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. In this episode, we'll be comparing two juicers in my famous juice-off comparison tests. Nobody online has as many juice-off comparison tests as me, and I like to show you guys actually how each of the juicers perform and lay out the pros and the cons of each machine so that you guys can get the right juicer for you. That's so important to me because my life was saved due partly because of juicing and including higher volumes of fruits and vegetables, and especially the leafy greens, than I could otherwise eat, and I still juice to this day. If you guys appreciate my videos and the work I do to compare these juicers so that you don't have to, and that you could get the right juicer the first time, please support me and my work by making your purchase at DiscountJuicers.com. For limited time only, we still have the Namawell J2 on special in cooperation with Namawell.com. You can use a coupon code DJJ210 at Namawell.com for a $55 off discount. Link is down below. And when you use that coupon code, Nama shares part of the commission with me so that I can continue to make my videos and educate you guys about the different juicers and how they perform. So thanks in advance for those of you guys that will support me, and I want to thank you for those of you guys that have supported me in the past. I appreciate it so much. So on with this comparison. So today we're comparing the Breville Juice Fountain Cold versus the Namawell J2 juicer. This is a high-speed, fast juicer, and this is a slow juicer. So here's the thing, guys. There are pros and cons to every different juicer. You know, the speed and how long it takes you to juice and how long it takes you to clean is one element. How much yield the juicer makes is another element or criteria that may be important to you. But maybe for some of you guys, ease of use and convenience, right, is important. For some of you guys, maybe the noise is an important factor. So I make these videos trying to share all the different criterias that you may have to show you guys which machine may be best for you. I know a lot of you guys don't like my long videos, so I'm going to sum this video up right now, right? If you want a higher quality juice, more quantity juice that tastes better, and especially the juicer is able to juice leafy greens effectively, right? And you want a longer warranty, then simply go with the Namawell J2 and turn this video off now. What I'll be sharing with you guys in this video is why I'm making that recommendation, because I'm going to show that the J2 does make more yield, it makes a higher quality juice, and I'm not juicing leafy greens today, but it will juice leafy greens because I have other videos on it, link down below if I remember that. Whereas the reason why you might want to buy the Breville is because it's fast. You know, I'd rather have you guys make a juice in your Breville, no matter what you juice, instead of opening a Coke or a soda or other kind of soft drink, you know, or even one of those so-called fruit juices from the store that has 10% juice in it and it's just full of corn syrup, sugar, and artificial colors, right? Fresh juice you make at home, even if it's a high-speed machine, even if you're not going to get the most yield, even if it's not the best quality juice, is better than a Coke or a soda, in my personal opinion. So that's the summary, and what you're going to learn in this episode is the specific differences and how these machines work, and as well as how loud they are, because I'm going to test that, as well as how warm the juice is as it comes out of the machine, because these are all important factors. Does it heat up your juice is something that's commonly said, especially about the high-speed machines such as the Breville, but Breville was so upset about that they put Breville Juice Fountain Cold, you know, trying to lead people to believe that this machine is cold because they want to jump on the cold pressed juice, which I would consider this a cold pressed juicer because it's really crushing and squeezing and pressing out the juice, whereas this is actually working on centrifugal force that does not necessarily generate heat at all into the juice, but does put a lot of oxygen into the juice. Now, if Breville had the Breville oxygen-free juicer, then I would be definitely paying some attention. But this is a Breville aerates your juice the most, which in my opinion lowers some of those, especially oxygen-sensitive nutrients the most as well. So let's go head on with this comparison. We're going to explain how each of these machines work, take them apart part by part, and compare them so that you guys can see how they work. All right. So the Breville, I gotta say, they were the first in the world to come out with a 3-inch wide feed chute that you could literally put whole apples in. It makes juicing really simple and easy. And some people may like the 3-inch feed chute, but then Nama's got it one better. On their feed chute, right, They have a smaller hole if you use the hole. Actually, I barely use the hole. Their feed chute is this. You got the whole top. You could just basically put produce in this whole hopper and fill it up and do batch juicing so that you no longer need to put things down a hole. And more importantly, you don't even really need to use a pusher if you properly load up the Namawell J2. You literally load it up, shut the lid, turn it on, and you can literally walk away, as I have showed in my videos linked down below. This hopper at maximum capacity will make approximately 24 ounces of juice based on my personal testing. And you don't have to babysit the juicer. It could juice, you come back, and it's done. So this makes juicing the absolute easiest in the world based on my testing. And that's why, you know, for the most part, I use the Namawell J2 a lot when I'm juicing. Okay, so this is their unique setup that you load up the hopper, you fill up with fruit, you turn it on. It basically has a processing blade in here that partially cuts up the produce before it sends it down this little hole, which then gets it into the auger. And this is how this machine works. It has a single auger that's spinning at a low and slow 50 revolutions per minute. As the food goes down the auger, it basically crushes and squeezes at the cold pressing part. It's pressing cold because there's no heat being added into the juice. It is then being run inside this screen, which then all the crushed produce, the juice flows out the side of the screen, out the bowl into your collection cup at a slow pace. It is a stainless steel screen, and we also have this wiping blade on the outside that is working to keep your screen clean so that you get the maximum amount of yield. Meanwhile, the juice flows out this little spout that you have a spout cap that you could open and close so you don't get drips on the countertop. I encourage you guys to leave it open while you're juicing. Some influencers and people online show it closed when you're juicing. I believe that leads to lower yields plus more oxygenation in your juice. So I always leave that open. And the other side is where the pulp comes out. And actually this is the easiest juicer on the market to clean with this little pulp flap, because you just literally snap that open. This drops open so you can have easy access to the ground up pulp that is actually fairly dry, created in the Namawell J2. To assemble this, very important, don't assemble it on top of the motor base. It won't assemble properly. So you do need to do it while it's sitting on the countertop. You're going to take the wiping blade and just put that around the screen. They have these little tabs that kind of like lock into the top of the bowl here. There's one big fat one on one side and one smaller one on the other side. So you put the big one and the small one. Drop the auger in. Most important thing when assembling the J2 is make sure this back part is lined up with the back part on the juicing bowl. And if it is lined up properly, it'll assemble properly. The other thing is people could assemble it backwards like this. And if you assemble it like this backwards, the machine will never turn on. And you're going to think the machine is defective when you buy it. So I want you guys to put it together properly. Once you assemble it properly, you can lift it up with the handle and drop it on the base. And once it's assembled, you can turn it on, and the machine turns on and runs without you having to do anything. Now actually, let's go ahead and do a sound check on this while we're checking it. I'm reading like 66, 67 decibels. When I'm talking, it goes up to like 94 decibels. And if we turn it off, we're down at 20 decibels, just the stagnant air with no sound. All right, so meanwhile, over on the Breville juice fountain, cold, you have a high spinning blade in here that's running super fast. 6,500 RPMs for the low speed setting and 13,000 RPMs for the high speed setting. That is incredibly fast. How this works is you put the produce in and there's no cold pressing involved, there's just shredding. So there's micro shredding involved of your produce. As the produce is micro shred, cell walls are broken open, liquid comes out, and that literally is flung through the screen because this is running at a high speed. Kind of like when you're going one of those loop-loops on the car and you're kind of like it's pushing you to the outside of your car. So all the juice gets flung through this micro pore screen. All the pulp stays in here, and the pulp is generally supposed to be kicked out due to all the force out of the back of the machine. Meanwhile, as the juice comes through here, it basically spins into the bowl. And if you look, this is a very interesting design on the bowl. The spout is actually high up on the bowl. So this is actually not even being pushed out The juice is not being pushed out by gravity. It's being pushed out literally by the Air Force. So the Air Force, I mean, that's not the Marines. The Air Force is literally pushing out the produce out of the front of the juicer into your bowl, which basically super oxygenates it, in my personal opinion. And this does not do any favors for the quality of the juice. Although, once again, this is super fast. So, you know, I mean, I started out with a Juice Man 2 juicer way back in the day. This is the centrifugal ejection technology that they had back in the 90s that I was happy using, because back then it was fairly state-of-the-art. And they didn't really have the slow cold press juicers. But, you know, everything and technology always gets better. And who nowadays is even using an iPhone 3? I don't even think they're supported. Everybody has the iPhone, what is it, 13? Or I don't even know what number they're on now. Everybody has the latest and greatest because the newest ones are better. That's why I'm going to say the Namawell J2 is better than the Breville, just sheer because the technology is newer and there are better extraction techniques. And this old school technology that Breville keeps trying to bring back and keeps selling the old technology, maybe with even a new name like Breville Juice Fountain Cold instead of just a Juice Fountain or Juice Fountain Elite, right? And then all the pulp is kicked into this hopper bin in the back that actually fits on nice and tightly, because if it didn't fit on nice and tightly, this thing would spit pulp everywhere, all over your counters. All right, so let's go ahead and drop this blade in. Drops right in, and then we could go ahead and put this top set on. Now I'm going to do a sound test of the Breville on the high speed setting to let you guys know. Alright, we're straight up reading like 81 decibels. When I'm talking, it's like 94, 95. But this is a loud juicer, so it's significantly louder than the Nama. I mean, I would almost say that, you know, if you have people sleeping in your household or your neighbors, if you got thin walls, you could juice in the morning with the Nama and you're pretty much not going to disturb anybody. But with the Breville, you're going to disturb them. You know, some of my customers have previously described the Breville as an airplane taking off in my kitchen because it is so loud. It runs so fast, like those turbines on the jet engine. So one big benefit of the Nama is it is much quieter. As I also mentioned, it extracts more juice in most cases. It'll also create a more nutritious juice. Also is a lot better for juicing leafy greens. The one area that the Breville might beat the Nama in, I haven't checked the J2 yet, is with carrots. High-speed juicers are really effective at juicing carrots because their micro-grading technology works well for carrots, not so well on leafy greens, and not so well with fruits. Whereas the, you know, single auger style juicers, not quite as effective in terms of yield, total quantity of juice, but the quality of the juice is definitely better in the slow juicer, even if you're not making as much yield. So that is maybe a small drawback to give up to get the Nama. You're going to make a little bit less quantity, but a lot higher quality, all right? So that's how these two juicers work. I think the next thing I want to get into is we're going to do a juice off comparison, juicing even amounts of peeled tangerines in each one, because I have a lot of people requesting, John, what's the best juicer for fruit? So here's the thing, the best slow juicer for fruit is the Namawell J2, in my personal opinion. Of course, a press style juicer is probably always the best for juicing fruit. Going to get the highest yield because fruit can be very difficult to juice. Another juicer style that may be good for fruits is actually the vacuum juicing technique that I show in the DynaPro vacuum blender plus Alexa's nut milk bag. Link down below if I remember to that video where I talk about the 3 best juicers of 2022. And guess what? The Namawell J2 is one of them. The Namawell J2 is one of our best-selling juicers at Discount Juicers, and actually it's also the one that I use the most in my personal life because I find it's just easy to use with the hopper that you could fill up and load up and shut the door, and then it juices for you so that you don't have to. I really love that a lot. So as you guys can see, we're all set up and ready to juice, but first we get to do the weigh-in to make sure we have a fair fight. Go ahead and do a weigh-in and show you guys we've got a fair fight. Over on the Breville side, looks like we got 1901. And going over to the Namawell J2 side, we got 1901 grams. 1901 grams on both scales. Lots of peeled organic tangerines. All right, so let's go ahead and remove the scales out of the way. Oh, and we're losing the tangerines there. And I think today what I wanted to do was actually take a temperature reading of the tangerines before juicing so we could see if either of the juicers changed the temperature from the tangerines going in, which is room temperature, versus the tangerine juice coming out. So I'll be using the infrared thermometer to check the temperature of the tangerines before juicing. This one is measuring at 63 degrees. This one's at 63 degrees also. So we're going to measure the tangerines before 63 degrees, measure the juice made out of the Namawell J2, and the juice temperature out of the Breville to see which one of these juicers heat up the juice more, because the Breville is called the juice fountain cold juicer, implying that it does not heat up your juice. So first I'll be juicing the Breville because it's actually going to be probably quicker than in the Namawell J2, but will require more hands-on work. So we're going to go ahead and turn the machine on the slow speed, which is 6,500 RPM, which is supposed to be better for softer fruits. The high speed is better for firmer fruits and things like root vegetables and carrots. And once it turns on, we can just go ahead and start dropping in some of these fruits, and you got to hold your hand over the top. You really don't got to use the pusher too much, but this is splashing a lot of juice everywhere. If you use a pusher when you're juicing fruits like this, you may reduce the yield that you could be getting. So we're just basically tossing in one at a time. This is fairly easy. It's definitely making my hand full of tangerine juice as it's literally spraying everywhere. And I want you guys to notice, like, look at all the foam being created on the juice. You know, it's just being basically mixed with all the air. Man, and this is kind of getting messy. If I didn't have my hand up here, it would be splashing everywhere. All right, down to 2 more. I mean, this was quick and easy. I'm not going to deny that fact. All right, last bit of orange or tangerine going in there. Look at my hand, it's dripping with all the pulp here. Let's go ahead and turn that off and let that chill out a little bit. Now we're gonna go ahead and measure the temperature of the juice there. The temperature of the juice is 66 degrees. So I had approximately a 3-degree increase. So yes, the Breville juice fountain cold heated the juice. A total of 3 degrees, all right? Next, let's go ahead and use the Namawell J2. I love the Namawell J2 because literally all you gotta do on this juicer is open up the hopper, dump in your tangerines, once you're done loading the hopper, then all you gotta do is close the hopper lid. And next thing you gotta do is just turn this machine on, and the juicer does all the work for you. All the tangerines did not fit the first time around, but that's all right, because now I let the machine work. It's basically automatically feeding the juice in, or the produce in. It's making the juice and spitting out the pulp on this side. And while the juicer's working, I get to read a book that was signed by Dr. Joel Fuhrman. This is the Eat to Live book, so I really don't even have to pay attention to the juicer. I can learn about tofu scramble with tomatoes and peppers. And look at that, before I know it, the J2 has worked through all those tangerines, so we can just open up this little hopper lid. We can literally take the rest of these tangerines, put them into the machine, close the lid, and let the machine continue to work. And we're out of tangerines. I'm not getting my hand messy, and it's a lot quieter making the tangerine juice. Look at that. With very little foam and a lot deeper, richer color for sure. As you guys can see, this works significantly more effectively than the Breville. How you know when this is done is basically the pulp will stop flowing out and the juice will stop flowing out. And look at the difference. Oh my gosh, this is insane how much more juice that the Namawell J2 juicer got than the Breville high-speed machine. Looks like this one's pretty much done dripping all the drips out. We're just gonna go ahead and turn that off. And now we're gonna measure the temperature of this juice. Once again, that one was 66 degrees. And this one is also 66 degrees. So both juicers increased the temperature by a measly 3 degrees. So they both heated the juice. That being said, a 3-degree temperature rise, I don't think is significant. To me, what is more significant is the oxygenation and the yield. Look at that, that is insane to me. You guys notice the color? Look at the color on these juices here, right? This one's a dark, deep, rich orange, right? And what does this one look like? This one looks like a frothy, kind of yellowish orange juice. You guys can't see the top on that, but there's lots of froth inside this container. And I'm not gonna say there's zero froth over on the Namawell. there is very little air bubbles that is added into the juicing process as compared to the Breville that added significant amount of air, in my personal opinion. So next I want to go ahead and give you guys a close-up on these juices so you guys could up close see the differences between them. Look at the difference in the juice colors. Once again, the Namawell J2, look at how deep and rich. I mean, that really looks appetizing. Once again, if we go up on the top to show you guys, look at that. Yeah, there's a few air bubbles in there, but most of the juice you don't see air bubbles on the top of. Meanwhile, if you look at the yield, a little bit hard to see the yield. Let me see if I can get that for you guys. If you look at the lines, we're basically like at 6 cups of juice straight up. Over on the Breville side, once again, the juice is separating into layers. I won't say that the Namawell won't separate. I'll say it will separate significantly slower than the Breville juice. But what I'll say is that it's really hard to kind of determine the level of the juice because you have so much foam, and I want to show you guys the foam on that. I mean, this is like sudsy foam that you'd get like in your laundry machine. Look at that, that's totally insane. I mean, we could swish this around and all you see like in there is like foam. That's not going to definitely taste too good, and that's basically oxidized juice. And if we try to even figure out where's the yield at, right? I mean, to the best of my ability, I would say that that's at a 3-cup yield. On top of the 3 cups of actual juice yield, you got definitely like a layer of foam, maybe up to like the 4-cup mark. So maybe like a whole cup full of foam and only 3 cups of juice. So literally, you made 50% more juice by using the Namawell J2 juicer, and it was a much higher quality juice at that. So the next thing I want to do for you guys is taste test the juice. So we're going to go ahead and taste test the Breville Juice Fountain cold juice first. And pour a little bit off the bottom so there's not a lot of foam in there. Tastes alright. It's a tad bit sweet. I have no reference point yet because I've only tasted this juice. And a lot of you guys may have no reference point because, like, if you've been using a Breville, you're like, oh, the juice tastes great. Until you maybe try a juice made with a different juicer. So look at that juice, man. So much more orange, right? Let's go ahead and try this. Wow. That's an insane difference. So I would say that this one is like more full-bodied. It's like more rich. You really taste like the flavors of the tangerines, whereas this is kind of like you're drinking just like sweetened water. I mean, it's not sweetened water, but because the machine, in my opinion, does not fully extract the nutrients from the tangerines, right? This one tastes significantly better. Of course, you know, if I taste tested and you guys were here in front of me in the studio audience, I'd say 9 out of 10 would prefer this one, but I'm sure there's that person that like, I like this juicer because it's more aerated because it doesn't taste as strong. But I think the fact of the matter is, you get 50% more juice in the Namawell J2. It's a much better tasting juice. It also has a lot more nutrients. I mean, you can just see the nutrients. Look at the color difference, right? Colors in foods and the pigments of the foods are some of the nutrients. What is there? Beta carotene and vitamin C in the tangerines. That's delicious. All right, next, what we want to do is this. This will be fun. Let's go ahead and take a look at the pulp, right? So here's the pulp created out of the Namawell J2. If we look at that, that's just a nice solid mash. It's like nice, deep, rich. If I squeeze this, I mean, I could squeeze a couple drips out. I'm not going to say it's completely dry, but it's actually quite dry. It's it's probably the driest out of any vertical single agar juicer I've tested. Next, let's go ahead and check out the pulp from the Breville. Inside the Breville, there's like all this pulp still left over. We're just going to go ahead and scoop this down, and you'll see why I'm doing this in a second, because I really want to get all the pulp out of the Breville. There's even pulp still left in the blade here that got stuck into the blade. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take this off. Wow, and this pulp is quite heavy, guys. We're going to go ahead and take this and get another tray there and pop all this stuff down. Look at that. Oh my gosh, you guys see that? Like, this tray is literally, this collection bin is dripping with juice that didn't come out with the juice. It went into the bin there. That's completely insane. That's totally insane. Look at that, it's still dripping juice out there. I mean, this is really the inefficiencies of the high-speed machines, and I can't believe Joe Cross in the movie Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead used the Breville, because when you use a Breville high-speed machine, you're losing nutrients that are gonna like literally be in the pulp. I mean, I don't want to tip this up because all the juice that's in here is gonna literally spill out. But if I pick this pulp up, this pulp is so wet. Look at that, I'm like literally wringing the juice out. That's completely insane. And look at the color, right? This has been extracted. There's no juice around the edges, and there's so much juice in here. So let's see. This is gonna be a cool test for the Namawell J2 to see if we could actually even extract more juice from the Breville pulp, because the Namawell J2 is such a good juicer, it can take pulp out of our Breville and get even more juice. So let's go ahead and open up this little hopper on the top here. And look at this, as I pour this in, look at how much juice is gonna come out of this little tray here. Let's see if I can get this to pour in. Look at all that juice just literally dropping out. And now we're just gonna go ahead and scoop in this like super uber wet pulp. This is so insane. I mean, the Breville is so inefficient, guys. I can't believe anybody would buy these. I mean, it's the uneducated people that don't watch my YouTube videos who buy a Breville, right? And if you guys bought a Breville, you know, you didn't know, and it's all right. Maybe if you just bought it, you could return it to get your refund and go and get something like a Namawell J2 or other slow juicer that's a lot more efficient, all right? So we got all that pulp back in the Namawell J2, and let's go ahead and put this lid back on, turn this on, and let's see if the Namawell J2 can extract more liquid out of the Breville juice. Look at that. In no time at all, we're up to 150 milliliters, 175 milliliters. This thing is filling up rather quickly. Glass is already filled up. The J2 has extracted so much juice out that I didn't anticipate. I gotta get a bigger catch cup to catch more juice because the Breville was so inefficient. Actually, I didn't expect the Breville to be this inefficient. I figured it'd be like 1.5 cups inefficient, but you know, we're shooting up near like 2 cups of inefficiency in the Breville high-speed machines. Let's go ahead and wait for the Namawell J2 to press out all the pulp out of the Breville and see how much more juice we created. So the Namawell J2 is just about done pretty much juicing without any incident the juice from the Breville juice fountain cold. Now here's the thing, guys, you can't always just put the pulp in and have it expected to juice. It depends on the produce specifically you're juicing. Sometimes the pulp will go through a second time and work, and sometimes it'll just sit in the top part and spin without working too well. So look at this. We created a total of 2.5 cups more of juice. Actually, there's a 3-cup difference between the Breville juice originally and the Nama juice, and now we've literally extracted 2.5 cups back to kind of make up the yield. And look at the color on that, guys. The color on that is more akin to the Namawell J2 juice from the get-go, but it's the Namawell J2 juice from the get-go is still a bit darker because the juice from this machine went through one juicer once, it aerated a bunch, and then it had to go through this juicer a second time, so it wasn't as effective at like pulling out all the nutrients as the Namawell J2 the first time. But literally, look at this. That's 2.5 more cups of juice. Let's go ahead and try this juice now, the repressed pulp, because the Breville is so inefficient. Wow, that juice is not as sweet as the Namawell J2 juice, and this is why I believe, because you've already oxidized the heck out of the pulp, it's starting to break down. Because it was more broken down, it's not quite as flavorful or sweet or as delicious as the Namawell J2 the first time, which proves to me you should just get the Namawell J2 and not the Breville and try to like extract this juice the second time. Now let's check out the pulp that the Namawell J2 turned the Breville pulp into. Look at that. It's pretty much like the same mash, similar, maybe a little bit lighter in texture or color than the Namawell J2. And if I take this pulp and squeeze it, you know, I'm pretty much squeezing pulp. I mean, maybe I get like 1 or 2 drops of juice coming out, but that's how efficient the Namawell J2 juicer is. The Breville is so inefficient that Namawell can take its pulp and get more juice out of it. So there you guys have it, right? What juicer is better between the the Namawell J2 and the Breville, to me, this is like a no-brainer, guys. Come on. You made twice as much juice, a lot higher quality juice, a better tasting juice the first time through. When the Namawell took the pulp from the Breville, you made another 2.5 cups of juice, showing the mass deficiencies of the Breville cold. And this goes for any high-speed Breville juicer, whether it's got Breville Cold XL, Breville Cold this, Breville Duo. If it's a high-speed juicer like this, guys, even if it's not even the Breville brand, right? High-speed juicers are a very ineffective way to juice fruits, in my personal opinion. It always will oxidize your juices more. It's not going to be very effective at juicing light leafy greens either. For that reason, I'm a big fan of the slow juicing technology. Whether you use the Namawell J2 because it's easy, whether you want to get the Santa 727, another high-end slow juicer, or even the Dynapro blender, vacuum blender with the Alexa's nut milk bag. Once again, link down below to my video, 3 best juicers of 2022. Watch that video before you buy any juicer, because if you watch that video, you will know what juicer is the best for you, because I basically break it all down. So anyways, at the end of this episode, I gotta declare the winner. And of course, I'd be crazy silly or on some massive drugs not to say that the Namawell J2 is the winner. Not only did we make 50% more juice, have a higher quality juice, a better tasting juice, the Namawell was so good it could basically take the pulp from the Breville, extract more juice out of it. In addition, the Namawell has a 15-year motor warranty, 2-year warranty on all the parts, although the president of Namawell have told me that they will take care of people after the 2 years, but that's not in writing. Meanwhile, the Lonely Breville here has only a 1-year warranty, plus this is significantly louder. That might wake up your household when juicing. It runs a lot higher speed, up to 13,000 RPMs, where this runs at a low and slow 50 RPMs. Does a much better extraction on things like your fruits for higher quality juice. So I'm gonna have to go, guys, with the Namawell J2 all the way. If you guys have a Breville, hey, it's never too late. You could sell your Breville and buy a Namawell J2 so that you could increase the quantity of your juice. And in this test, I did citrus, and on citrus, this is about the difference you're gonna get in yield. On other foods, like leafy greens, it will be more also. On carrots, the yield will be closer, but you always will get a better tasting juice when using a slow juicer such as the Namawell J2 than the Breville, in my personal opinion, and based on all the testing I've done over the years. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, me sharing with you guys the truth about the different juicers, hey, please support me in my work by making your purchase at discountjuicers.com. Link down below to buy the J2 from Discount Juicers directly, so that you can have me on your side to answer your questions before and, more importantly, after the sale, but also, more importantly, get you the warranty service you deserve should you buy the juicer from Discount Juicers. That being said, if you buy the juicer directly from Namawell, you could use the $55 off coupon, the DJJ210 at namawell.com. Link is down below to that, so you could save the $55, but then I can't give you the excellent service, the customer service after the sale, or guarantee you will get warranty service if you are dealing with Namawell directly. So that's the benefit of purchasing directly from me at Discount Juicers. So I could definitely hold your hand and help you out and make sure that all your needs are met once you buy your juicer. So I appreciate you guys that will support me, or even just use my coupon code if you want to get that discount, and that's more important than getting my personal service. Only you can decide what's more important to you. But in any case, guys, please thumbs this video up, share this video with others. This helps out the YouTube algorithm, get this video out to more people, because most people don't know the truth about the juicers, and I'm not scared to just show what each juicer does, give my expert opinions and commentary on the juicing process, so that you guys could better understand and, more importantly, get the right juicer for you the first time without having to buy a juicer, return it, and all this kind of stuff. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below. Make sure to click the bell so you get notified as my new videos come out. I have new videos coming out every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up or what new juicers I'll be testing, so that you could learn about the best technology out there, so that you can eat more fruits and vegetables in their juice form. Also, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are wealth of knowledge. Over 700 episodes at this time on this YouTube channel dedicated to comparing and contrasting all the different major brand juicers, as well as other appliances that allow you to include more fruits and vegetables in your diet, which are the healthiest foods on the entire planet. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors
Bye.